if you ask the atheist, why do things happen in his or her life? How do you explain this? How do you explain that? How do you explain that you and your friend came from the same background, went to the same schools, graduated at the same time, but you are a successful businessman and he is a failure? How do you explain all of that? The answer is, my good luck, his bad luck. In terms of the atheists, they ask the question, why do we need a religion when God doesn't exist? Religion is man-made. The whole idea of God is a myth, a figment of human collective imagination. However, when you look at the essence of their thinking, their beliefs, their understanding, we see that actually they are pagans. Pagans. And that they do have a God and they do have a religion. How is that? Well, the main atheist God is matter in motion. Matter in motion. This is a definition which has been given by the materialists to explain how we are here without a beginning. So for them, matter is eternal. Not just matter, but matter in motion. Why do they add in motion? Because if it's just matter, you would still have to ask the question, who set it in motion? So to avoid this whole issue and the question of who started the ball rolling, things moving, they define the origin of everything as matter in motion. So matter in motion is the God of the atheists. You do have a religion. What is your religion? Your religion is secular democracy. That's your religion. You believe that this is the guiding force that should rule societies everywhere in the world, and everybody should live in accordance with secular democracy. So that is your religion. If we go on to the deists, they say, why do we need a religion when God never communicated with man? God created the world and left it to run on its own. He is not involved in the world and the things of the world. The world is nothing. It's a speck. So, religion is man-made, just as the atheists say. Man-made. In fact, when you look around, there's so many religions with so many different beliefs, and all of them say they're the right religion. There's clear evidence it's man-made. That's their conclusion. The fact of the matter is that if they really believed in God, they would have to conclude that there must be a religion. If they really believed in God and understood who God was, then they would have to conclude that. Why? Because one of the most basic attributes of God is knowledge. Knowledge and wisdom. And common sense tells us that if God created this world and didn't inform human beings what they are supposed to do in this world, there would be confusion and chaos. Human beings wouldn't find their way. They would just be stumbling along. Each man making up his own religion, his own way of life. And people wouldn't find their way. They wouldn't know what to do. That's common sense. So, what is the religion of the deists? Well, their religion is also secular democracy. Moving on to the modernists in our midst, who say they're Muslims. And what do they say? They say, why do we need a religion, meaning Islam, to govern society when times have changed? Islam is outmoded, backwards, inappropriate. That's how they put it. You want to apply Islam today? No, 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 that was 1,400 years ago, not applicable today. We don't need Islam to govern society. No, religion is like a personal thing, you know. Okay, between you and God, you know how you turn to God when you have problems. It's just a personal relationship, spiritual relationship. That's religion. Not governance of society, not governing all aspects of life, etc. No, 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 no. That's not appropriate today. Human beings have evolved, society has evolved, you know, we have much more knowledge, we're able to explain things, do things, everything. We don't need religion to govern our society. So what's the solution? Secular democracy. So all three groups that deny the need for religion are united in one religion, secular democracy. If we look at what is secularism, secularism, according to the Living Webster Encyclopedic Dictionary of the English Language, is a system of beliefs. Wow, very clear. A system of beliefs which rejects all forms of religious faith and worship, and which includes the view that public education and other matters of civil policy should be conducted without the introduction of a religious element. What is democracy? According to the Collier's Encyclopedia, Volume 8, 77, page 77, democracy is based on three main principles: equality, rational empiricism, and discussion and consent. Equality, what do they mean by equality? Equality, all humans have one common trait. That is the ability to reason. All human beings have the ability to reason. We are rational beings. And this justifies each human's right to determine the laws that govern him through the democratic process. Secondly, rational empiricism. What does that mean? It means that human minds have the ability to deduce from historical and personal experience what is best for human society. Human minds have the ability, through their historical knowledge of history and how things were and can be, etc., and also their personal experience. From that, they're able to deduce what in fact is best for human society. Sounds nice. However, when we read the American Constitution, written up in 1787 by the most enlightened minds of America after the Revolution, they wrote in Article 1, Section 2, known as the 3/5 Compromise, that a black man, like you and I, are equivalent to 3/5 of a white man. This is the American Constitution. The most enlightened minds, using their ability to deduce from historical and personal experience what is best for human society. That's what they concluded. That a black man is equal to 3/5 of a white man. How they got to 3/5, God only knows. But that's what it says. Till this day, you can go to Washington and go and read the American Constitution, and there it is. Article 1, Section 2. The third point, discussion and consent. What is discussion and consent? This is the mechanism for the democratic decisions. What is it based on? It's based on the idea that no one possesses absolute truth. No one possesses absolute truth, meaning nothing, no truth that has ever been held is above being challenged, cancelled, removed. No truth. So, after that, we have a majority vote in which all present would equally have the right to have their views heard. And then whatever was the majority becomes what is now right and the truth. Whatever was previously held is considered to be wrong and falsehood. So, what does that mean? It means then that good and evil, because this is a mechanism deciding what is good for society and what is not good. Good and evil are relative. So, what does that mean? Practical terms. It means that in Canada, in the 50s, there was a book called Catcher in the Rye. This book was banned. Why? Because it was labeled pornographic, corrupt. It had graphic descriptions of sex, women, men, inappropriate. In the 50s, they banned this book in Canada. It wasn't even to be sold, shouldn't be seen even on the shelves. 50s. 20 years later, it became, in Canada, required reading for every high school student. You couldn't graduate from high school without reading it. Or at least reading the Cole's notes. They have it summarized. You know, if you didn't want to read the whole book, you could get the summary of it. But you had to read it. That which 20 years earlier was pornography in print became a classic, not just okay, but a classic which everybody had to read. We said, what happened here? Islam says that human beings do not have the ability to arrive at what is right for them as a society in all cases. Some cases, yeah, we can arrive at what is right. We see accidents happening in a certain part of the city, the roads, we say, okay, we need a traffic light here, or we need a roundabout. We can arrive at that. Common sense, we can put that in place. It's not that we're incapable, we can. But in all aspects, no. The American Constitution is clear proof we are not able.